Hey, we're getting ready to go live, so the microphones are hot. You need his number, Nathan?
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here today. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6:02. All right, so at this time, any person may address the Planning and Zoning Commission about items not on the agenda. Rules and procedures for addressing the Planning and Zoning Commission are included under item 1, call to order. Neither formal action nor discussion may occur at this time. Those wishing instead to speak on an agenda item should indicate their desire to speak as the Planning and Zoning Commission considers that item. All right, so we're going to call this to order to address the Planning Zoning Commission regarding an item. Submit a request to speak form before the meeting begins. Speakers are allotted 3 minutes and must limit their comments to the subject indicated on the form and should address the Planning and Zoning Commission as a whole rather than individual members of the staff. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, the Planning and Zoning Commission reserves the right to adjourn into executive or closed session at any time during the meeting to seek legal advice from the city attorney on any item proposed to the agenda. All right, so can we go ahead and get a roll call?
Andrew Mikowski,
Here.
Colby Cohen, Harry Clemente,
Here.
David Dickinson Cuniff.
Here.
Chairman, you have a quorum for tonight's meeting.
Thank you. All right, so for our first item on the agenda, we have a work session, and the first item up for discussion is to discuss the Planning and Zoning submittal calendar and the new meeting date. Nathan?
Good evening, Commissioners. So in order to meet certain new statutory requirements, we're needing to move the P and Z meeting date. I think we've tried to get that information out to y'all, but we wanted to go ahead and make sure we had this documented. The new meeting date work staff is hoping to consider is the 4th Thursday of the month, with the exception of November and December, obviously to account for holidays, which that would be the 3rd Thursday of those months. We've put together a calendar, submittal calendar for all of next year. We currently don't have a submittal calendar on our website just yet, but with this, we'll have those dates. And it's important to have those dates up there because applicants know when to submit for council or for P and Z consideration. And then what day they're going to expect to get review comments back from the city on their plans, but what day they can expect to come before this body and then council. Right now, we meet the second Thursday of the month, and council meets the third Tuesday. So that's this coming Tuesday. So anything that we bring before P and Z tomorrow, our staff is kind of scrambling to get all that stuff to the city secretary, who's putting together a packet to get to council so they can post their agenda in time. So it's affecting multiple departments. So in moving to that fourth Thursday allows us ample time to prepare and to take those items to council still within the 30-day shot clock. Like, for example, if we're talking about plats, someone turns in a plat application, the state's kind of redefine those rules on when it's considered a complete application. So we take that in, and as long as it's met all the requirements of our checklists, tax certificates, and they've paid the fee, the state says now that that's the actual file date. Whereas before, we would take that in, we would have a completeness review, we would be able to get into the plans, provide those to the applicant, but the file date wasn't established until later. The state has come in and said, nope, can't do that no more. So we're having to kind of meet those expedited timelines. So now, when we're talking about plat submittals, we're not talking about specifically the construction plans that are associated with those. Those will continue to be reviewed under the required time limits. The state's also said before there was some confusion whether or not the plat and the utilities, the drainage, traffic studies, all the other required studies that are typically associated with development are subject to the 30-day shot clock. The state said that no, it's only specific to the plat. So that's the subdivision of the land. The other items such as drainage, traffic, utilities, those types of things can continue to be reviewed as staff deems appropriate. There's still a 45-day window to where we have to provide some sort of response back to the applicant, and we meet that currently. So right now we're just talking about plats. So moving to the fourth Thursday, and then there'll be a new submittal calendar for 2024. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Good with
I think
everybody?
it'll work out good.
Okay. Excellent.
Any questions? All right. Yeah, it sounds great. I think it's, it has always been kind of compressed, get them going from one meeting to the next meeting, especially for some of our developers, when things come out of the planning and zoning. We might say, hey, maybe we can look at trying to find some alternative, and they have to scramble to make those adjustments, trying to get them there and done before going to council for approval. So I think that it's going to kind of be beneficial for all parties involved. All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to our second item in our work session, and that is to discuss upcoming planning and zoning commissioner training options. Nathan?
So City Council, they've been very gracious, and in the new adopted budget, we've asked for increased funding for training. And that wasn't just for staff, but that was for y'all. Also our Board of Adjustment, who we're staff liaisons to. And so before you in the packet, you have there's two options that I want to bring before P and Z to consider. One is it's actually designed for planning commissioners. It's through Planetizen, and it's in conjunction with Michigan State University. These are, again, the cost for the training. The city's going to cover that cost, but I'd like to kind of get your thoughts on them. They are online. They are sort of on demand, so at your leisure. But I would say that you do not act leisurely with them. That if you can knock them out. How many of you guys want to go back to school? No? Okay. So we'd love to have your participation in this. You'll get a certificate at the end, but we'd love to be able to say that our commissioners have gone through one of these training programs. So one's through Planetizen, which is about 10 modules. So what we'll do is we'll set you up, work with you on creating an account through that provider, and then we'll enroll you into that program, and then you complete those videos and those courses as you have time. Following that, there'll be a certificate, I believe, that you get assigned or presented with. I don't believe there's any tests or anything like that, major projects, but it's just kind of an overview of your role as a planning and zoning commissioner. And that's the first option. The second one is a more local program, and that's through A&M's AgriLife program. That's the Texas Citizen Planner. And these programs are open to really anybody who's interested. This program's been around for a while. It's more condensed. I believe there's only about 4 modules in this particular program. And the cost is reflective of that. But again, if you have a preference on either one, would love to hear that so that we know how to move forward. Love to get your thoughts on that.
I don't know, you told us 2 different ones, but I wouldn't know one from the other to pick, what are the differences, I guess? What's
Well, one has
benefits of the other one? I mean,
one has 10 modules. And the other one's got 4.
the easier one. One's easier than the other. Is that how you could summarize it?
Well, there's let's go over some of the differences. So
What do you recommend? I mean, you want us to have.
I recommend the one from Planetis because I believe it's a more comprehensive and it's geared specifically for the planning and zoning commissioner. The Texas Citizen Planner is a great program as well. But that's kind of geared towards anybody that's involved with city planning. They even have a program that's assigned or it talks about emergency management and hazard mitigation. So if you are an engaged citizen and you're just looking to get more information and you want to take a course on it, this one's also available. Our preference obviously would probably be for the planning commissioner training. Again, we'd love to get you signed up for that, but
That's the one with the 10 modules you're saying, right?
correct. It is going to take a little bit more time to kind of get through that. Both of them have a overview on like legal foundations. They'll go over what a comprehensive plan is for the city. What I did like about the one through Planetizen is that it offered a course specific on site plan. And you guys are going to see those. Those come before you, site plans, plats. Whereas the other one, I think kind of real high level, but the first option I think is a little bit more comprehensive.
I would have to say that I like the one from Planet Zen as well. Looking at the 2 different trainings, it seems like the Planet Zen one is more geared towards what we're actually doing and what we're undertaking. Reading kind of some of the different types of course descriptions that they have on here. The Texas Citizen Planner does seem like the target audience is a local community, not this board. My recommendation would be.
Anybody else have a thought on that?
Is there a cost factor to us or the city's paying for it?
Just your time. How much is that worth to you? Yeah, just your time. We're grateful for it. So, but as far as the course goes, we've got that in our budget to cover. Thank you to City Council.
Oh, she'll explain it to you later on. Just got to re-sign up everything with your new person. Ms. Lopez will show you later on.
All right, so are there any other questions over the training options or any other suggestions or input?
None from me. So we have to all agree on like which one, or can we individualize?
I could, and we're the ones that are signing you up for it, so we're happy to sign you up for one or the other. There may be a cost savings if we get a group going on just one, that I'm not sure of though, but
When do you need to know by?
sometime next week, this fiscal year. Really would like to see this, if you start on it now, you can probably knock it out by the end of the month or maybe by the end of the year. Certainly by the end of the year, that's our target, is that everyone's been able to go through this.
But to have the course completed?
Correct. So each module is about, 40 minutes. There's a video, and it's very, very user friendly as well. So that's what I've enjoyed about courses on Planetism. Yeah, real easy to get through it. I've enjoyed it.
So
do you need us to make a recommendation?
No,
or
just
is it
part of the work
just
session. Yeah,
gonna
if you
just
guys will,
discuss it,
yeah, if you'll
maybe we'll
touch base
feedback?
back with staff, shoot us an email. Which you're getting information right before the meeting on your city issued emails. So that'll be the primary form of communication that we'll have moving forward. So once we get those signed, those will go live. And we'll reach out to you.
Sounds good. Well, if there's no more discussion or any more comments on the training options, we'll go ahead and move into our regular session. So our first item up in our regular session is the approval of the minutes from the September 14th, 2023 regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the September 14th regular meeting. I'll second it.
All right, all in favor? Raise your hand. All right, unanimous. All right, so now we're moving into our public hearing. And so I want to open up the public hearing for planning and zoning case 2311 at 616. And this is to consider the approval of a proposed replat of the PRC Edition Block 1 lot situated in the MP Lamar Survey Abstract Number 987 to create lots 1R1 and 1R2 located at 801 Potomac Parkway, City of Kennedale, Tarrant County, Texas. Do you have any public comments on this?
We do have a Miss McDowell that is wanting to speak with regards to the traffic at Potomac and Little School Road.
So can we go ahead and have her up?
Miss McDowell, if you'll raise your right hand. Any testimony that you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Say that you affirm and swear to this.
Where I'm from. I'm Nancy McDowell and I live in Georgetown Commons, which is actually Arlington, but it is at the, just off the intersection of Potomac and Little School Road. I do not have a complaint with the replat, but when I talked to Mr. Gonzalez on the phone, we were concerned in my neighborhood about increased traffic. And traffic on Potomac is not necessarily heavy, but Little School Road is very heavy and getting heavier all the time with the construction on the Southwest Connector. And I'm concerned about additional retail opening onto Potomac and trying to turn off of Potomac onto Little School, either north or south. We have a one-way stop there now, but I'm concerned that with additional traffic by the proposed retail and daycare, that at peak hours like rush hour, it's going to back up on Potomac. There's also a plan to have another exit from that retail, which would just be a couple of 100 feet south from Potomac. So my question was, has there been a traffic study? And I don't think there has. I don't think engineering required it, but we would just like to note that we would appreciate a three-way stop there. A light would be wonderful, but that may be too close. But just go on record that we'd really like additional stop signs to help with ingress and egress there. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any other public comments on this item? So we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:19. All right, Nathan?
Okay, so the applicant here is requesting a replat 801 Potomac. The single lot there at that intersection, Little School Road and Potomac, to create two lots at this location. Lot 1R1, 1R1 will be the site of a new daycare, while the other lot will host two commercial buildings for potential retail office use, some tenant space in there. The site elevations have been provided to the Planning and Zoning Commission for your review. So we've reviewed the plat in and of itself. Again, the subdividing of the land, and determined that that complies with all city requirements. To speak to the other items as far as traffic studies, one of those, the civil plans are still in review. The previous plan that was there was going to be a single commercial building And upon my arrival here, that was kind of already approved, ready to go. It's already gone through all the engineering review. I don't recall right offhand if a traffic study was required, performed, or warranted at that location. I'm certainly going to look into that as we, prior to us approving the civils, we'll have that discussion. But I believe this project will probably be a catalyst to launch the conversation of putting in those stop signs and potentially put a light in there. So as traffic does, if it does back up, that's at least something we can point to as a reason as to why we need that. And then we can come back to council and hopefully secure funding if it's not already provided to put something like that in place. To add a stop sign, I believe it's just an order of the chief. You know, we added the stop signs there at Potomac and Little School Road, a four-way stop sign there. A recent national night out, we got to meet with folks in that part of town. Everyone was really happy about those stop signs going in there. Will that become a street light at some point? You know, maybe. But further up the road, it's probably not a bad idea to also put some stop signs there. I know the police department is heavily in favor of slowing down traffic on Little School Road as well as other parts of town. But regarding the plat, it does meet all the city requirements, so we do recommend approval.
So this is kind of right on the city limits, right between Arlington and Kennedale.
To the correct, well, to the on the other side of Little School Road, that's where you have Arlington. And then further down Potomac, there's one lot to the west of this location. And it's actually a resident that's made up of two lots. There's a residential home. There's another separate lot that's just got a pool. The pool is in Kennedale, but the home is in Arlington. And then the city limit line continues kind of north for a little while and cuts right through the Walmart parking lot. So the Walmart's in Arlington, but the Walmart parking lot is in Kennedale.
A little shopping center with like the little Caesars.
Yeah,
and
where the
whatnot.
T-Mobile is, GameStop, that's in Kennedale. EECU, that's in Kennedale. Everything on the east side though of Little School Road, that's in Arlington.
And the stop signs you're referring to, you were talking about the new ones at Pennsylvania Tree Point, right? Or
Um,
Pennsylvania. and Little School Road.
Perhaps
You
I
said-
misspoke. Yeah,
you
I
said
believe
Potomac.
it's. No, the Tree Point will be further north by the apartments. And that tire place, if I've got my bearings right.
Right.
The new street, the four-way stop sign that went in is Potomac, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania and Little School Road.
That helps a bunch. It's cut down because
Potomac. Yeah, this is on the corner of Potomac and Little School Road. So that's where we would look to get with the Public Works, but also the police chief, see if we can get an order to put some stop signs in there, and Public Works will secure those signs and go out there and have those installed. But I envision that there is a stop sign there, but turning north onto Little School Road from Potomac if traffic does become an issue.
So, but this intersection would be all in Kennedale? Or
The
would we
intersection
have
would.
to- Okay,
Yeah, the intersection would.
so we wouldn't have to work with Arlington on any of this to put in a stop sign if we want to put in a stop sign.
Yeah, we have precedent. We got that reputation.
everyone's doing these roundabouts, so it's
Now that would require us securing additional right of way on the Arlington side to kind of make that happen, or. Yeah. But.
Do you have any other questions for Nathan?
well, you're saying that, plat gets approved, it could bring up conversation about doing all the other stuff. It could bring up conversation. Who would be the one bringing it up again? I said, it could probably get us an idea, put a stop sign in, get a hold of the chief and everything. Who would initiate that? Does it have to be citizens forum come in?
Absolutely. I mean,
And bring a complaint or request to council or to us and then start it again,
doesn't require any action from P and Z, I think, or council to put a stop sign in there. So that's just a call into the police chief or Public Works or the city. And again, having received the comment on record now, we're gonna move forward with looking into that. Again, I believe, and I can't speak definitively, but look at to see what traffic studies were done, if they were done. But I do imagine some sort of stop signs being added in this area. And what I meant by is that this would jumpstart that conversation when the building goes up. Not necessarily the subdividing of the land that we're discussing today, but when the construction is done, when it becomes a occupied tenant space, and then we start to see those traffic, that's where we can actually point to something tangible and say, hey, we know that this was a concern that was brought up. Now we're seeing it in real time. What I'm saying is I want to try to be proactive in having that conversation so that we're not dealing with, miles of backup and then say, okay, let's order the signs and they're 6 months on back order. So
As we stand now, that is not our concern to be voting on. We're just voting on again.
just the subdividing of the land, and it's a recommendation to council on that.
That's light years away and it really does not concern us at the moment, what we're voting on.
Right, what you're voting on is simply this, it's a ministerial act, essentially. So as long as it meets the city requirements, I'll ask for your recommendation, and then council will essentially consider it as well.
That moves on to council. That's
Yeah.
right.
But with replats, it does require a public hearing, like we've done tonight, to take that input. And then it's a great process because it gives staff more community input on what to look at, what to look for. Again, the civil engineering is still in review. It's wrapping up, but I suspect this is kind of one of the final puzzles in order to get those building permits issued. We need the plating done, or the replatting done.
Thank you.
Just to kind of give a reference about where this is at, this is pretty much in the middle between Pennsylvania and Tree Point, right?
Correct, right in between that.
And so if you're coming south on Little School Road, you pass the Walmart, you pass Tree Point with the apartments, and then there's a little bit of green space, and then there's a church, I believe, next. and then
This is right, yeah, just north of that, I believe it's the old Primitive Baptist Church, so it's adjacent to that lot. Across from this location, you have a small law office, and then you have like a self-storage facility. You pull in on both of those off of Little School Road, and there's a self-storage facility there. across the-
Yep. That's it.
Any more comments, questions?
None. Excuse me.
Is there any more questions or comments for Nathan? All
Good.
right, well, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion. Motion for approval.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor? Unanimous approval. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and open the public hearing for PZ case 2312. And this is to consider the approval of a proposed replat of lots 1-3, block 50, original town of Kennedale, situated in the CBT survey abstract number 1506, to create lot 1R1 located at 328 West Broad-Watt Street, Kennedale, City of Kennedale, Tarrant County, Texas. I'll go ahead, open public hearing at 6:29. Do we have any comments on this case? Have we submitted any? So I'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:29. Nathan?
Okay, so this one's real simple. So the applicant here bought a home. It's situated on three small slivers of land. And he wants to expand that home. It's I believe a 2-bedroom right now, wants to add a bedroom. He had tried to get a building permit from me. I'm giving him a hard time, I guess. But I said, you can't build over the lot line, so we need to replat it into a single lot. That's what this is in reference to. It's simply to allow him to build over those lot lines, because they won't be there. It'll be a consolidated lot. Probably should have been done years ago, but that part of town was made up of a lot of those little tracts of land. So this is just essentially cleanup. And so following this, consolidating into one lot, and that way I can issue a building permit.
Yep, I know how to do that myself.
No questions for Nathan?
Questions? for Nathan?
I'll go ahead.
I wouldn't do that.
I'll go ahead and entertain a motion then.
I do have one question, Nathan. Not really it's part of this. When this gentleman has to replot, who has to do, I guess, the replotting, cities and engineering?
He'd have to engage this land surveyor, which he's done, to prepare that plat, which is before you tonight.
And there's a cost factor for that, I guess?
There is.
But he owns all those slivers of land, right? Correct. Because I owned mine, and just to have the one line taken away and consolidated, yeah, they had to come out and.
Mhm. Yeah. It's a very common thing, unfortunately.
You already got a structure there. I had the piece of land, it was 2 lots. And when I built, part of my house was gonna go over the other side, and I went, well, I own the land, I go, now you have to replot it. And that cost me $500. I don't know what it's gonna cost you, but it cost me $500. I said, I was curious. All right, so
Well, if we have any other questions, don't have any other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve. I'll give it a second.
All right, all in favor? Unanimous approval. All right, so now our last item is adjournment, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right, all in favor for adjournment? All right. And at that, the meeting is adjourned at 6:32.
Sorry, fellas, man. All right, so
Okay.
it's just online, right? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now this is trained for newly appointed officials.
So,
I've been newly appointed to something else.
no, I'm thinking that.
Oh, after the, well, so I just got the same thing. at public, Parks and Recreation. I thought it was. No, we approved whatever else. I couldn't log in.
Okay, I'll tell Rayanne.
Right, when I,
and
you know, I
have her reach
copy
out.
it, but it takes you to the, Bill Paxton's, website, but it just.
Okay. I'll let
But I
Rayanne
don't,
know.
if that's the same one that I got over there, I mean, look at it.
It's on record,
And
and
it
she
says
goes,
the same thing.
well, they're just gonna worry about whether.
So this is the stuff I signed.
They're not worried about, they're not, anything else happens thereafter, then they go, now council's gonna look this over, right? Yeah. We're clear, we're the good guys. Blame it on the council. Yeah. That's what I said, so it's always on record, that's why I say some of the things I say. Just to, I mean, if I was sitting out.
Why would
Say
you?
no to everything.
Yeah, why would you want to? Call you and complain? Know what happens? Am I correct? Is that what I'm thinking? Yeah, or that too, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to something, I mean, what the hell? Yeah, I
They
think,
said that other thing is that 10 miles.
yeah. Especially with taxes going up, I don't.
Have you seen it yet?
I mean,
How much?
And then you have a copy of the email. I left you. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yours is already active.
Yeah, I already did that
So
part,
you're
yeah.
good. Okay, as long as you plugged in.
Yeah, I logged in my email, yep, it's good to go,
Okay,
yep.
I'll let Rayanne know about the other item. And then next I'm gonna figure it out.
I emailed Rianne and, I just haven't heard back from her, but that is, I didn't check to see if it actually sent, so I don't know.
Yeah, she had an appointment.
Okay, well, no, I did it yesterday at noon.
Okay, I'll let her know though.
Cool.
But yes, sir, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate it, though.
Y'all next time.